We've got a lot of time together, but it's still never enough time. So I come up with 8 questions, and just to start, I roll the die 3 times, and whatever number we land on, that's what question I'm giving you right now. So you got your first roll here. Right, we got a 1, if not rats. If you, like real you in real life, could control and communicate with the animal of your choice, what animal would you pick and why?
It would be dogs, because I have a dog and I wish she could understand me, and I wish I could understand her too.
We're going for another roll here. An 8 is called downtime, and I feel like I know the answer to this one based on your Instagram post recently, but what is your absolute favorite way to pass the time in between scenes when you're on set?
Of course, taking naps.
What's like the weirdest place you've ever managed to nap?
Let me think. I think my chair, like in the waiting tent, but like in the weirdest positions ever.
I could legit only like sleep in a bed in the dark in silence. So someone with the ability to nap anywhere and everywhere, I am so envious of you.
God, even in the plane, like if I'm in the like most basic seats ever, I put my table down. I take my, how can I say, the pillow, like the neck pillow. I put my head there as I was like having a massage, and I just sleep like this for many hours in a flight. It's crazy.
We got one more roll here. 2 is advice. Who gave you the best advice for jumping into your very first big Hollywood movie?
James Gunn, definitely. Yeah. He made me promise him to stay a good person like forever. Because he told me, like, this was the quote, please stay a good person because the world needs it.
It makes me like you and him even more than I already did. We got to get the creative juices flowing on this one. Cleo and Nanawe in a Suicide Squad sequel that we're making up right now. They're going to star in their own sitcom as roommates. They're going to move in together and be roommates. What city do they live in?
Maybe London, because it's really like streetwear style. Ratcatcher II will be like, she will feel like she belongs there because of the grungy style, really dark. And Nanawe, for the first time, will get to be... For the second time, he will be able to have these guys again and to like dress up as he likes.
I want to see this already. What jobs do they have to pay for their obviously too expensive apartment?
I would say that Nanawe could collect trash, in the trash like buzzes, because if he smells blood or if he smells meat, he could hit it. And Ratcatcher, I would say pizza delivery, because why not? She could get the rats to deliver the pizza to everywhere. I don't know why.
I feel like most people out there would not accept pizza from a rat, but I most certainly would. So I will be your first customer.
But it would be like Amazon. Once you open the door, you see nobody, but your package is there.
Even better, but I'll still put in a request. I want to see Sebastian deliver me a pizza.
Yeah.
They're having a movie night. If they can actually agree on one movie to watch, what would that movie be?
Ratatouille, I guess, because Nanawe seems like a little bit romantic, also romantic in the kind way, and Ratcatcher would love it too because rats.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back for a brand new edition of Collider Ladies Night. I've got Daniela Melchior from the Suicide Squad with me this time, and I kind of feel like a jerk saying this because a lot of this ensemble is truly phenomenal, but you run away with this movie. You are so good.
Thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. Thank you.
How did that audition even come to be? Was it a standard, you get a call or an email saying you have the opportunity to audition for this, and do you know exactly what you're auditioning for when that happens?
I can't remember if I knew that I was self-taping for the Suicide Squad. I'm not sure if it was like for a secret project or something. But at that moment, I received like the email with the self-tape, and I was on vacation in Thailand. And if I didn't tape, it would be like the third self-tape that I received from my manager, and I wouldn't tape. So I was like, okay, so I don't get fired, because I didn't know how the industry works. I was like, so I don't get fired. Like as soon as I land in Portugal, I have to tape for it. And it was the worst tape that I ever did. I was actually reading like that emotional scene, like the biggest scene that I'm talking about, my backstory, Ratcatcher. I taped that scene too, and I was reading the whole time. I had like the paper, like the frame was this, and I had the paper right here, and and they loved it. I don't know why. They saw something there. They called my manager called me to fly to Atlanta and to do like the screen tests and the chemistry tests with the rats, and I was like, really, they like that? Like that crap that I did? And he was like, yeah, it looks like. So I flew to Atlanta. I had a meeting with Peter Safran and James Gunn. They asked me some questions about me. They told me about the character and what they wanted like for the next day about Ratcatcher. And in the end, they asked me like, Danielle, I really want to ask you, were you reading in your tape? And I was like, I love Marlon Brando, and I know that he would read sometimes too. So I was feeling really inspired by him. And then I told him, but don't worry, now I know my lines and I know what I'm doing. So like tomorrow will be fine. And yeah, it was fine.
Backing up, you had mentioned that you said no to taping for certain things. And that's something I always find fascinating, especially when you're first starting out, because you want to get all of the experience that you possibly can, but at the same time you want to make sure you're presenting yourself to people in the industry through roles that really speak to you. So I don't want you to have to name specific things, but what were some of the qualities in those other roles that you decided not to read for, that didn't speak to you?
Actually, it was because I was on vacation, and for me, it was really hard. It was really hard to
I
tape
like that reason.
in hotels, and but it's like the true reason was I was so afraid of like acting in English and like learning the lines and everything, that like everything was a reason for me not to tape, because yeah, I was really afraid to not do a good job, and like to send tapes that wouldn't represent me, and like I would be feeling ashamed for. So yeah, I would just say, sorry, I don't have blank walls here in the hotel that I am that I'm right now.
This movie is so full without any of this, but I find that what happens to me is when I wind up loving a character, I want to know every single detail imaginable about them. So how much backstory do you need to come up with, or do you need to come up with James in order to get you in the right headspace for the beginning of Cleo's journey?
The conversations that I had with James were more to find her energy and like her tone. But then for me, I really love to like imagine those stuff, imagining like what kind of things Ratcatcher would love, what kind of movies, what kind of music. But of course, I have a backstory that um would not be official, because maybe James Gunn will want to to make a different one, and like in a spin-off or something. I don't know. Um, but like my for me, Redcatcher went there without really like feeling that she wanted to be there. She was caught, and she was like in prison because something wrong happened when she was trying to rob a bank with Sebastian and all of her rats. but it would be something like she really wanted and needed to survive. So yeah, I don't feel like she's a true supervillain. uh, she was in this particular mission, and it was her first mission. And I'm really curious about what happened next, if something happens next. If she will get into the point like she will kill somebody, and why, or if she turns into a superhero, because she could be, right? I feel
Now we're going to get into spoilers here because this next rat question pertains to something that happens later on in the movie. So this is everyone's one and only spoiler warning. We're digging into the spoilers on the Suicide Squad right now. Did you ever discuss with James, or just maybe think about on your own, what the connection to the rats feels like in general versus when she's doing something so big, like controlling such a massive amount of them in the finale? Is it like the exhaustion of running a marathon or something like that?
I would say that it's more emotional and mental than physical, because as we see in the movie, she doesn't run, she doesn't even try. It's crazy. She only runs for her life if she feels like Starro is coming right after her, because in other ways she wouldn't do like, she wouldn't even try. So when she starts to think about her father and to think about like her purpose or finding her purpose, I really feel like she's really trying, and she's suffering, but more with her heart and like soul and mind than like in a physical way.
I feel like this is a big question that might not have a specific answer, but bringing up Starro makes me think of this. So she forgives and also befriends Nanawe after he nearly eats her. And she's also sympathetic to Starro, but in that case, she does what she has to do to save the city. So, did you ever find a specific limit to that empathy?
I really feel like once she sees the danger that this Starro can have, like to the old world and humanity, she starts to think like, we have to do something. We really have to do something. So she doesn't want to take naps. She doesn't want to give up. She's a little bit frustrated when she sees that Bloodsport is giving up, but when he decides like, let's do this, she's the first saying like, okay, let's go. I was waiting for you to have to make that decision. But then I feel like she's really loses her empathy with Starro when she's with Bloodsport next to her, and this lady says like, this city is mine. And in that particular moment, Ratcatcher 2 really feels like, this city is not yours, and this city is not ours, this city is my rat's city. So yeah.
The last one here. This is a big one. You could take it in a lighter direction if you prefer. What is the biggest fear that you've ever had that you've actually managed to overcome?
In Portugal, as an actor, like our lives aren't really easy. And my biggest fear was like, as soon as I ended a project, it was every time was in the same TV channel, but I didn't have a contract, like many other actresses with my age. Like I was never like the, how can I say, the bet for the channel. So every time I ended up a project, I was afraid to not have work like for many times. So that was my biggest fear. But before booking the Suicide Squad, I decided like, I'm not accepting any more jobs for this channel. So I will take a 2-month vacation, and then I will think about my life. And that was when like the tape for the Suicide Squad came up, and I really feel like that was a gift from the universe. So that was my biggest fear, and I'm glad that I just cut it that line for me.
You overcame it and you're excelling now. I know I've said it many a times in this interview, but Daniela, congratulations.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
you are something else in this movie, and I hope you are so proud of your work in it. Thank you so much for hanging
Thank
out with
you.
us on Collider Ladies Night. I feel like everybody out there already knows this, but if you don't know when the Suicide Squad is coming out, the date is August 6th, and you can catch it in theaters or on HBO Max. And this is probably clear at this point, but I can't recommend it enough. Again, Daniela, congratulations, and I can't wait to catch up with you for another movie soon.
Yes, fingers crossed. Thank you, Perry. So nice to meet you.